So welcome to the channel. If you're a current member, you've heard me talk about this year is going to be all about preparation on our homestead here. And what I mean by that is food preparation and especially backup power, potential off-grid power. We've recently started doing a solar system, and one of the biggest comments that I got as part of that series is solar's really nice, but it's really expensive. And you're exactly right. So that's why today on the channel, we're gonna talk about something I'm relatively excited about: affordable backup power. So these devices are dropping so much in price, it is very hard to justify not having some sort of basic backup power source. So today I'm gonna be checking out the smallest inverter, clean power inverter type generator that I've come across at a very affordable price. And here's the best part. I asked the company, would they be willing to give one of these away? So later in the video, I'm going to tell you how you can potentially win one of these inverter generators. We're going to give one away to our Facebook viewers and another one away to our YouTube viewers. So I'm excited that we're able to start doing that again as well. So in today's world, with geopolitical tensions, with blackouts constantly happening, brownouts, southern freezes, hurricanes, the list just goes on and on and on. We all at some point throughout the year experience multiple power outages. So for that reason alone, I'm always going to have a generator. So let's take a peek at this. This is the smallest generator I've ever tested. This is a Powersmart 1000 watt continuous 1500 watt peak inverter generator, which means clean sine wave power coming out of this. Typically when you start looking at generators this size, it's the little two-stroke, almost just like little chainsaw engine stuff. They're loud, they're smoky, they're noisy. You got to mix the oil in with the gas and you get dirty power out of those. An inverter type generator should give you a clean 60 hertz. We're going to check that, which means it's safe to charge your camera equipment, charge your laptops, your MacBook, everything else, to run your medical equipment, your CPAPs, all that stuff. Okay, so for starters, well, very compact, and look at this, very lightweight. It's 56 cc, 4-stroke engine, inverter, generator, 1000 watts, 1500 peak. Okay, for starters on the front, you have your fuel off and on button right here. There's a little choke that you pull in and out, very straightforward and simple. This particular model has USB charging outputs. That's great. So if you're out camping or somewhere else and want to charge your phones directly from this, you don't have to hog up your two 20 amp outlets right here. Although this unit cannot provide a full 20 amps. It's rated for 8.3 amps and 1000 watts. Here's your off and on engine switch, a little reset button, and you can ground this unit for safety reasons if you want to do that. A few overload indicators, over output. Also right here in the front is a foam air filter that you need to blow out and clean every so often. Up top right here, well, this is where you put your fuel. All right, here on the back side is your exhaust and muffler. Always want to run this outside in a well-ventilated space. On this side, here's your little pull handle, and there is 4 screws that we take out in order to access our oil fill port. I do wish this side snapped off and on for convenience, but with that said, you don't change the oil very often. We need to read the manual and see how often you do that. Okay, the side cover comes off. Here's your oil fill and dump port. It has a little lip right here, so you can tilt this unit over and dump the oil out. It should not come shipped with oil, most do not. All right, so we will fill this up with the recommended oil according to the manual. Put some non-ethanol fuel in this. It will run up to E10 it states, but I like to run non-ethanol on all my small equipment. Let's fire this up. Okay, so fuel tank capacity, 0.74 gallons, so right at 3/4 of a gallon. I was a little off. That's quite a bit for something this size. Should run a while. Weighs 26 pounds and takes 9.47 fluid ounces of oil. Let's see what type. So it gives a little chart. Looks like 10W30 would cover the majority of the nation. We're down here in Florida where it gets extremely hot, over 100 degrees. They're recommending straight 30 from about 50 degrees, which it is today, up to well over 100. It's so lightweight, you can just kind of barely lift it up as you pour in. All right, moment of truth. This is going to be the first start ever for this. I'm in a well-ventilated shop with big roll-up doors. We're gonna turn the exhaust out that way in just a little bit. We're gonna fire this up, let it warm up, kind of break in, and then we're gonna check, see how clean the signal is, make sure we're getting a good 60 hertz. Then we'll start putting some loads on it, listen to the tone change, see how loud overall this is, then we'll jump into some testing. All right, so let's turn the fuel on, engine to on, and we'll pull the choke out. As soon as it starts firing up, we'll push that choke in. Let's see how many pulls to start. All right, so as y'all seen, there was a little bit of smoke at the beginning. I think that's to be expected with the choke wide open. 2 pulls on a brand new generator. So, overall, not loud at all. It's not like this is a push mower or anything. Let's walk around the front. All right, I'm gonna go right behind the camera. So overall, not bad, not bad. So you can definitely carry on a conversation with this. I will say though, I think my Powersmart bigger inverter generator is a little quieter than this, but I think it's got a bigger muffler too. They're trying to make a really compact package right here. All right, so did you see that test? That was the max capacity test right there. I've got a heat gun that, what was that, runs around 750, close to 800 watts continuous. And you can hear this thing really ramp up, so it's all automatic on how it ramps up to keep up with demand. Then I was able to use a jigsaw right here, which is variable speed, and run it right up to, you've seen me holding around 950 watts, no problem. Just ramped up some more. And then once I kind of pushed it over 1,000, you've seen the overload light start saying, hey, we're gonna shut down, but it never shut down. I held it there for a few seconds, went right back down to 950. So it seems it can absolutely hold the 1,000 watt rating that it has. This is a little louder than I was expecting for a small inverter generator. However, this still is nowhere near as loud as, I don't know if you can see my old school generator over here. That thing is deafening, can't stand it. This, with a long enough extension cord, I could put away from a window and sleep at night, say if we're running a window unit after a hurricane. And if you ran, say, a 50 or so foot extension cord away from a tent, just depends on how noise sensitive you are. A steady noise like this, I could sleep through no problem. I would just run a longer extension cord, say if I was camping. All right, let me put all this up and let's go test the popular stuff. What you're most likely gonna use one of these for. Not necessarily tools, but it can for sure run tools 1,000 watts and under. That's a lot of common tools. Okay, so here we are out in a room in my shop that has a window unit. However, it's cold today. I don't know if I can turn this down low enough to get it to kick on. Fingers crossed, because this is always a popular request. Again, us down here in the South, when we go through power outages, typically you're gonna want to stick a window unit in, especially if you're gonna be without power for days. There's nothing more miserable then sitting after a hurricane in July, power's out, it's 90 degrees, 90% humidity, and you're burning up in your house. At least if you can have one room to run to with something like this, it's just such a welcome feeling and a lifesaver. All right, so I have it plugged into an extension cord, run out to the generator. All right, fan just kicked on. You heard the generator change tones out there. It's ramping up to meet the load. All right, we got to make it think the room is hot. Now the thing about units like this is running wattage is normal. I mean, it's 300 watts. I've tested this before. It's that initial spike and surge that I'm not so sure if a little small gas engine can keep up with. Okay, did you just hear the compressor rattle or the generator kick off? Now on. The compressor is running. Let's go see how the generator sounds. I heard it definitely pull down when the compressor kicked on. Okay, I'm outside by the generator. You can tell it's definitely ramped up, but not all the way ramped up. Don't forget, I've tested this unit many times before. It pulls 300 something watts once the compressor kicks in. It's that initial surge that I was a little worried about. All right, 5,000 BTU window unit, no problem. So typically in tests I've done in the past, the deep freezer does very well. Pulls about 120 watts and the surge, the compressor kick on, start up, isn't bad. It's my full-size refrigerator here that has something going on with the compressor. It's tripped out a lot of like portable power stations that I've tried to run in the past. Let me see if I can get this thing to kick on. Turn this all the way up to the coldest setting. Woo! Okay, did y'all hear that? We're at 960 watts. No wonder. It just about stalled that out there, but it was able to really ramp back. The compressor's on. Holy smokes. I guess I've never paid attention. 935. So it actually just kicked the overload out on the end. Let's go double check that. I seen the power drop. I don't know why this refrigerator is pulling so much power. Okay, the compressor just kicked on again, 944 watts. For some reason, this refrigerator just pulls a heck of a lot of wattage, and the compressor is staying engaged for a long period of time. It just kicked back out. Okay, here's the plug for the deep freezer. This is the one I am most concerned with. Pulling 0 watts. We're going to engage the compressor down here. Hopefully we can get it to kick on. And let's see if this little device can handle the initial surge of the compressor. Then the settle out period shouldn't be a problem. All right, so here we go. Try to listen out for the generator. Let's kick this compressor on, see if this will handle it. It cannot handle the surge of these compressors. Bummer. All right, so that's a bummer that it can't handle the initial surge of freezer and refrigerator, but I kind of already knew that. It says 8.3 amps on the side, and you're gonna see a higher spike than that starting those compressors up. The good news is, well, it started the window unit, although you could hear it really put in a bind for a second, but once the window unit compressor kicked in, things smoothed out, you could probably run a window unit for hours before you'd even need to top off this type of a tank right here. Again, 300 running watts with the fan on high is what I typically see there. All right, there's another reason I wanted a small inverter generator, and it's gonna be a bit controversial here, but this is gonna be a heck of a test to show y'all, I hope, that you can power up extremely sensitive and very expensive electronics. So for all of y'all that are gonna be in a power outage situation, we wanna know if you can run your routers, run your TVs, you're wanting to check on what's going on in the world, right? You wanna get your internet, your satellite TV back. A lot of y'all are radio operators and have very expensive radio equipment in the event of an emergency situation. And you want to make for sure that you can power up your radio equipment. So something that I really want a small inverter generator for, as sacrilegious as this is my solar system. We're going to have days where it's going to be cloudy and I can't get incoming sun. I can't get that solar input. It'd be nice to be able to fire up a small little generator like this that should sip on fuel and be able to charge up the batteries for my solar system. this is not that uncommon. Now my big EcoFlow Delta Pro over here, well, it takes 1800 watts of input for wall charging, far more than this can produce. The good news is I can go in the app on that device and I can turn down the input voltage. So I'm gonna turn it down to say 600 watts. That should be all that it pulls from this. I'm curious to try that. And now I can let this little guy run out here with the shop door cracked and charge up my batteries on cloudy days. That's where I could see these really being beneficial, especially for the price point. Now I randomly chose 500 watts because, well, that's half the rated power of this unit. It should be relatively fuel efficient at that point and not just really max the unit out. And I may ease up to 600 or 700 watts of charging as well. It would really just depend on the day. If I'm dealing with an overcast and cloudy day and getting some solar input, well, I may bump this down to 300 or 400 watts just to make sure I'm topped off for the night. Okay, so we are charging. We're just under that 500 watt mark that I have it set to. And the good news is I don't see smoke coming out of a very expensive and sensitive electronic. So it must have clean enough power that this isn't going crazy. And that's ramped up over there. So whenever I need to charge like that, I can just set this right outside the shop via that extension cord and on cloudy days, charge my solar system. You know what? Last but not least, I better check these USB charging ports because y'all are never gonna let me live that down. We're charging. All right, so initial thoughts. I love the small compact design, 26 pounds. Again, this thing is comical how light it is. And the price point is excellent, especially for an inverter generator. So if you're looking to run sensitive electronics, camping, need a quick backup source to power up your phones, run some fans, a small window unit, run those televisions, charge up things. This is so hard to not justify for the price range that it's in. Now with that said, yes, it did not start a full-size freezer and refrigerator, and I already knew I was probably expecting a bit much of this based off the amperage rating I seen on the side. But the good news, well, Powersmart makes a whole bunch of generators. So this generator right here will run absolutely anything that you've seen me test today for about a couple $100 more. So you still have options. They even offer a much larger inverter generator than this that has a full-size 30 amp RV plug on it. Would love to get my hands on that one. I'm sure a lot of you with RVs would be interested in that as well. All right, so you've hung around long enough. We're gonna give a couple of these away. I don't get paid to make these reviews. I do get to keep this little generator right here, which is gonna get a lot of use around the property. So whenever Powersmart reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in testing some of our products? I'm always interested in generators. I said, hey, I like this little guy right here. I would love to test it out. I said, all I ask is, would you be willing to give one of these away to a viewer? I wanna give back to y'all for taking the time to watch this channel and make it successful. Well, they told me no. You know why? Because they said, we're not going to give away one. We're going to give away two. I thought that was awesome. I didn't even ask for two, and they said they would give away two of them. So this is where I need to talk just for a minute. I need y'all to pay attention. Social media has been getting slammed here lately with spammers. Anytime you do a giveaway, they jump all over it. I do not want anybody getting taken advantage of. The official rules for how to apply for one of these were given away, one to a YouTube viewer and one to a Facebook viewer. Those rules are down in the video description on both channels. You need to read the rules before you apply. Spammers out there are stealing our channel logo, pretending to be us, and coming and telling you that you've won a giveaway anytime we say the word giveaway. How about that? And they're going to tell you to contact a number or contact them via email, WhatsApp, things such as that, and that you need to pay for shipping. Understand this, we will never ever require you to pay for an item that you won. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? We will not contact you suspiciously and ask you to pay us for something so we can send out your product that you won. We will always give away these products. And I need to let you know as well, this giveaway is not sponsored by YouTube or Facebook in any way, shape, or form. It is solely a giveaway of our channel and Powersmart themselves. There's no affiliation with YouTube or Facebook. So keep that in mind. Read the rules down below. You can see how to apply right there. That way I know you've read the rules. We'll have all the contest information when we're going to choose the winner. We will contact you, and Powersmart will send out your generator for free. Again, we do not ask you to pay us anything. If somebody contacts you and tell you you've won and asks you to pay shipping or anything suspicious, it is suspicious. Do not believe it. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed it. When you're talking generators in this range, it is so hard to justify to not have one for all the other little things that it can run and make your life a little easier, as we're all dealing with these blackouts, brownouts, power outages due to storms, and everything else that's been going on in the world here lately. So have you a little peace of mind stashed away in your garage, a back room, somewhere with a little device like this. Thanks Powersmart for sending this out and letting me test it, and thank you all for watching. Good luck in the giveaway. I hope you win.